Hello everyone, welcome back to Spurs in the Stands. You guys know the drill by now. I'm of course Sarah and we have a Carabao Cup game coming up tomorrow. So of course the big news of the day is the signing of Sávio, which I'm sure we're very excited about. Guys, I was just looking through a lot of the comments that have been coming through and I would have loved to have gone through some of your comments in today's video, but I haven't had time yet. I haven't had time yet just to screenshot them all, but we can definitely go through some of the reactions that have been coming up on this page in particular. Big up to you all jumping in. I know we're a little bit early for a Tuesday afternoon, but thankfully it is still sunny. And as all things with Spurs, it is forecast to thunderstorm tomorrow evening. So you couldn't write it. It hasn't rained all summer. And we go for our first home game of the season, even if it's not the Premier League, and it's forecast a thunderstorm. So you would expect nothing less from Tottenham Hotspur, right? You would expect nothing less. Big up to you all jumping in. How are we all feeling after the Sávio announcement? Just to quickly fill us in with the Marmoush situation. As far as we know, Marmoush had his medical this morning. He is in and around the Tottenham training ground as we speak. So I'm wondering if that's going to be announced while we're on live stream today. I can't imagine it will be because there's probably still some media press stuff that they have to do. So fingers crossed that he makes an appearance, maybe even announcement tomorrow at the game. So that would be an exciting one to look forward to if we don't hear any updates on the Marmoush front before the game tomorrow. Big up to you all. So what are you guys saying? A what? A talking muffin? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Anyway, guys, so yes, of course, Marmoush has been signed from the club, but some very mixed reactions, I've got to say. So maybe just to fill you guys in on some of the reactions that you guys have been saying in the comments. You guys have been saying, well, Mikel Gregorio, he said, of course, well, Sávio was a bolt out of the blue. Never saw that one coming. We haven't had a player like him since we had Aaron Lennon. Bums off seats again at the Lane. David King said, watching Chelsea last night, they at least had their basic playing philosophy worked out. Out of possession, they retreat to a 5-4-1 configuration and wait for the moment to press and then flood the press area to win the ball and then involve their wing backs. We had no formation at all on Saturday. And something that is as basic to any team, irrespective of the ability of the players on the pitch, expect at least this basic function to appear against Charlton. So very much a disappointing performance on the weekend from Spurs. But of course, we're hoping that tomorrow things can turn around. And I know some of you, I've just seen some of your comments have said. So Jorgen said here, it's not a fresh start if it's the same first 11 with Solanke up front. And I've got a feeling we will go through the press release and what De Zerbi was talking about in the press conference, because I think there was definitely some synergies with what I was saying in my video earlier and what De Zerbi was saying in his press conference. But Telmore, Gallagher, Bergvall, Gray at the right back and Solanke up front. Don't know if I'm bothered watching that. Well, we have had news about some injury updates, which we will dive into today. But it does sound like it is going to be a very similar squad, which I don't think is actually, for me personally, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, as I was talking about in my video earlier. So we'll touch on that as well. Big up JK who has just sent in a couple of jewels. I don't know, what's the hiding? what or who are you hiding from? Thank you very much for the gold coins. Big up to you. They also said, big up on you, Sarah. Is Omar Marmoush coming? Well, as I just said, the news is that he has had a medical and he's in and around the training ground, and hopefully, you never know, it's still not the end of play yet. We might get an update today, although I think that the announcement is going to to come during the day and he's going to say hello on the pitch at Charlton. That's what I'm thinking, how this is going to go. But let's see. And we know how that goes when we announce a player at the Spurs stadium. We get all excited and then we play the game and then it's not what we hope. So we've seen this story before, guys. This is not a new story at Spurs. Sávio at last, hopefully Marmoush soon. I think a lot of people are riding on the Marmoush signing. That's for sure. Tomorrow I will be at the game, so there will hopefully be for those of you that are new around here, big up to you all. Welcome to the tribe. Please do like, subscribe, comment, share, all of that jazz. I will not be doing a watch on tomorrow because all of the home games, or as many as I can go to, I will be going to the game, but I will be doing a match day vlog, which for those of you that have been here for a while will know that it takes me a good few hours to edit the match day vlog. So that will most likely be live on Wednesday, all being well, because it can take me 4 hours or so to edit a vlog. But anyway, guys, let's dive into, because obviously the video I've already done about Sávio and the announcement and all of that jazz, but it doesn't sound like, before we dive into the press conference, it doesn't sound like he'll be ready to play tomorrow. And the reason for that is it is pending a work permit. I don't know whether Spurs can expedite these things or whether they can be pushed through quickly. I don't even know how long a Brazilian work permit takes to acquire in the UK, if I'm completely honest. So it might even be that he might not make an appearance against Newcastle this weekend. So let's hope that they have some kind of, I don't know, express service just for Sávio so he can come and join us in at least our game against Newcastle. But I would also say that we know he hasn't been in training with Man City. So considering he might not be in his physically best state right now, I actually don't know if this is the best thing for him to actually start tomorrow, especially if he hasn't been debriefed on anything in terms of how the squad is supposed to be set up. So I'm not bothered if he's not in the squad tomorrow against Charlton. Some bits from Roberto De Zerbi. Big up to you all in the chat. I will tell Levy to sign Tyler Adams and Cody Gakpo ASAP. Well, I don't know. Levy's not in charge anymore. But yeah, I'll come to the chat shortly. It should be a formality. I guess you're talking Darfasha, I guess you're talking about the permit. Yeah, it probably is formality, but I know with Brazilian, because we had the same thing with Sousa in January, it took, I think he got signed and it was a couple of weeks before he actually had an appearance for Spurs, not necessarily because we had other players, but because it just took a while for that to be processed. But anyway, Roberto De Zerbi talking about Sávio, and I'm going to have to remember to say Sávio and not Sávio going forward. He said, if you analyse the last season, you need attackers to create chances to score. In terms of one-on-ones, he's one of the best players. He can play left or right. I've known him for a long time before he went to Man City. He's a big player for us. For sure, he has to achieve so good in 1v1 and in creating scoring chances. To be complete, he has to score. And I think what De Zerbi was saying here, the way that he said it is that he's not a complete player as of right now. Right now, he's really good at 1v1s, but what he hasn't got in his game or in his locker is this sense of scoring, you know, as he says here, 10 to 15 goals per season. He has the qualities, maybe it's habits, because he has to be focused on the 1v1 and to score. We have to increase the numbers of big chances to score and goals to become a top team scoring more goals. So what he's saying here is essentially we need to create more opportunities. And I think we could see that at the weekend, guys, against Brentford, right? We didn't create the opportunities. Partly that was because we didn't have the creative midfielder that we all know that we need. But for Richarlison or whoever the striker is on the day, if they don't get service, regardless whether Richie is able to hold the ball up, because in reality, that should be someone else's job to hold that ball up. And then you play it onto a Richarlison. And I think that's what Sávio brings to the team. He brings this element of, if he can hold the ball up and progress the ball, a bit like Kudus in a way, then you have service to your striker rather than have this situation where we have no creativity in midfield and Richarlison's the guy who's trying to hold the ball up the whole time, which we know he can't do. Now, is Richarlison going to be in the squad come next Tuesday? Because the transfer window closes 7 days from today. De Zerbi speaks about who potentially might be in the squad going forward. Now, in terms of team news, He said that Mickey van der Ven will be on the bench. Pedro Porro will also be on the bench tomorrow. Solanke is available to start the game. Sávio, I don't know if he's ready to play or come on the bench, but great news to have Mickey and Pedro Porro inside. Kudus is not ready yet, and with the James Maddison has suffered a small injury in the shoulder, and I'm laughing, probably a bit of an anxious, nervous laugh around Maddison because this guy is made of glass. How many times have we said it before? He gets fit and then he gets another injury. It's crazy. It is crazy, and it's look, it's incredibly frustrating for us as fans to go through this cycle again and again with Maddison. He gets close back to match fitness and then just something else happens, right? It might not be an ankle or a knee or an ACL or whatever. It just happens to be his shoulder, or I don't know, his eyeball or his earlobe, or just something comes up with James Maddison. And a lot of people were saying in some group chats I'm in earlier that, you know, the guy is washed and he needs to be in a museum and Maddison is not fit for purpose. I'm sure if you're James Maddison right now, you are incredibly frustrated. It must be so frustrating as a player to go through that cycle because you just don't get consistency. You never get the opportunity to build up your physicality, build up your strength, and then get some momentum behind you, which ultimately builds up that confidence. You know, every time he goes through this cycle, it knocks his confidence. So obviously that means Maddison will not be in the matchday squad tomorrow, which of course means we are probably going to see Gallagher again in the 10, because even if Kudus was fit, he's not going to be fit enough to play an entire game. So yes, Kudus can play in the 10. Xavi is out, Maddison is out, so we have to play Gallagher, which I'm sure is music to everyone's ears right now. But yeah, Maddison, what do you guys think about Maddison? What's the general feeling in the community about Maddison? He spoke about Xavi as well, which we'll come on to. And I do want to talk about Xavi and his plans for Xavi in future, because I think he is going to be a core central piece of this rebuild that we are currently going through. In terms of Williams Barnett, De Zerbi said his idea was to play him in the second half against Brentford, but it was not the right moment to put him on the pitch. And I respect that. I respect that. A lot of people were saying, why didn't we play him? But putting on a 17-year-old in a game where you're 3-0 down, it's not a good environment to throw a young player in. So I don't mind that he held back on putting on Williams Barnett in that game. He said, I can't forget the young players. I have big respect for the academy. They deserve to have satisfaction from the young players, and he's a potential big player for the club. Whether he's saying that because he knows the fan base is very much in favour of bringing through youth, or whether he genuinely means it, I'm not quite sure. I love the way that De Zerbi speaks, but we've heard him inflate players' egos quite a lot. Like, you know, tells the best player left winger in Europe, and Mickey van der Ven's the best left-sided centre back. We've heard him say things like this before. So this might be a bit of a balance between him bigging up Williams Barnett and giving him a bit of confidence, but also respecting the state of play and saying, look, you can't just throw players in the deep end if you're in a game where you're 3-0 down, you know, and putting a player in that difficult position. So I think Williams Barnett will be on the bench for this game. I can't see him starting. Let me know, guys, in the comments. Would you start Williams Barnett in this game, assuming that Sávio isn't going to be ready with his permit to start tomorrow? What do you guys reckon? We obviously still do have Mikey Moore in the squad, and from the outset you would speculate that Mikey Moore would start on that right hand side, given that Kudus and Kulusevski, and I can't believe I'm still saying these names that are injured. It's crazy. It is actually crazy how many times we have said these 5 players' names from our attacking. It frustrates me. It does frustrate me. Anyway, moving on to something more positive. De Zerbi on reuniting Xavi and Sávio. He said, Xavi and Sávio are very close friends. They are 2 big players. I love these types of players. Xavi, I think, is the future. In the future, will become a very important player for this club. So I did want to talk about Xavi in a little bit more detail, and that also links into Gakpo and the race for Gakpo, which we will also talk about the transfer stuff as well, because there's been some interesting links to right backs and centre backs and things as well. My perception is the way that De Zerbi is recruiting. He is looking at a lot of Dutch players that I mentioned the other day. Xavi is the perfect player for a De Zerbi system. Him combined with Sávio, they actually only played, I think it was 3 games together at PSV, Sávio and Xavi, because don't forget, Sávio was not a starting player when they were at PSV together. Sávio was a young kid. Xavi is now 23. Sávio is 20. How old's Sávio now? He must be 22, I think he is. He's a little bit younger from what I remember. Yeah, he's 22. So he's a year younger than Xavi. So at the time, Xavi was 19 and Sávio was 18 when they played together at PSV. Gakpo he's 27 now, so it would have been 4 years ago. So he would have been 23. And that was the year that Gakpo moved to Liverpool as well. So don't forget, those 3 players played together at PSV. A lot of focus is on Xavi and Sávio just because they're good friends. But we can't forget the links with the Netherlands squad as well in terms of Xavi and Gakpo. So we'll talk more about that shortly. Roberto on Robertson, he said, Andy Robertson, I have a good relationship with Andy. I think he's playing well. Normally, after a long time in the same club like Liverpool, it's not always easy to adjust. The training ground is like home, like a family, and to change dressing room is not so fast to understand. Sorry, guys, this is like in his Italian accent, so I'm trying to make sense of the way that he said it. Although I did watch it, but he said, I believe in him as a player and as a guy. We need this mentality as a winner because we have to get used to winning games and games and games. We have to change habits from previous seasons. And we've all said this, guys, before. I'm curious what people thought about Robertson's performance on the weekend. For me, I thought he was one of the standout players. I didn't read so many comments about Robertson after the game. So I'm curious, you guys in the live chat, what did you make of Robertson's debut performance? As a left back at Spurs. I thought he had a pretty good game. I thought he had a pretty good game. He's definitely more robust than a lot of our backline, and you could definitely see his leadership coming through on the pitch. And in some ways, I think he was our strongest player in our backline. So I think at the moment, Robertson probably looks like our strongest signing. For me personally, I think he does look like our strongest signing. I would say out of all our positions on the pitch, our left back is actually probably the most strongest, even though we've weakened by selling Jed Spence. I think that Udogie and Robertson, both of them, their ceilings are higher than, our right back, which is Pedro Porro and Archie Gray, or even our centre back, which is Van der Ven and Senesi. I think that those two at the left back is probably our strongest depth in terms of depth within our squad. What do you guys think? I'm trying to think if there's any other position at the moment where we have such strength and depth. Could you even say midfield, Tonali and Bentancur? No, you'd probably say the left back is still strongest. But anyway, guys, let me know. Let me know. In terms of Bergval, oh dear, guys, Bergval, poor guy. I feel sorry for him, but at the same time, you got to step up. You got to step up. He said, I hugged him and he already knows he didn't play a great game, but this game for Bergval, great and tell also for more, is the right step to become better and better. You want young players on the pitch to build experience. You have to lose to be stronger. The next time you play a game like Brentford, it's a normal step. Maybe 1 or 2 together is better than 4. Bentancur came first week of August. Fernandez had an injury. Pedro Porro wasn't ready for the Brentford game. So look, there's a lot of people out there that will say, why the hell aren't these players fit and ready? From what I understood, I think Bentancur had a baby over the summer, so maybe he had some obligations with family. Fernandez, we know he had a calf injury when they went on tour, and Pedro Porro won the World Cup final. So if you want to rest him so he doesn't get injured for the rest of the season, I'm willing to take it on Pedro Porro. I'm willing to take it on Pedro Porro to miss 2 games now, rather than shove Pedro Porro in the starting lineup. He gets injured, and then we're in a situation where we lose our best right back for the entire season. So that trade-off I'm okay with. People will question the midfield decision, and I think people have. I'm wondering whether Bergval is going to be the player that starts tomorrow. What do you guys think? Do we think Bergval is going to start tomorrow? We'll do a lineup. So what do you guys think? Would you put Bergvall to start tomorrow, or would you favour Fernandes? For me, Fernandes was definitely the best of the two, but I don't think he is quite fully match fit. So I actually think we are still going to see Bergvall. But I'm just assuming that Fernandes is still not fully match fit, and we want to keep him fit. We don't want to overplay him in Charlton and then not have him against Newcastle. So if I was De Zerbi, that is a very tricky decision that you need to make right now. So given that maybe Fernandes is, let's say, 80% fit, what do you guys think? Do you think you bring him on as a sub in tomorrow's game and then you start him against Newcastle, or do you think tomorrow we have to go, strong? Because one thing I was saying in the video earlier, guys, is mistakes is going to happen. You're going to make mistakes, right? The question is, how fast can you learn from those mistakes? You can't go into this Charlton game and do the same thing that you did on the weekend. You got to improve on it. And another thing that I said in some of your comments actually was last year we had this cycle where we lost our Premier League games and then we won midweek, whether that was cup games or whether it was Champions League games. The season before we had it as well. We lost our Premier League games and then we won midweek in Europa League. We are still 25 games in a row undefeated in Europe, which is crazy. So I don't want. We need to kick this habit. I'd love for us to win tomorrow, but I also want us to win against Newcastle. So, or at least take something from Newcastle. So we really have to kick this habit that even if we have a great game tomorrow, we have to push on and not go through that motion again of winning a cup game against Charlton and then losing at the weekend. We really have to sort that out. Anyway, moving on. He also spoke about Solanke. He said he's another important player. I know this is going to ruffle some feathers because there's some very divided comments. Let me know, guys. Are we still... I should probably put a poll up. Do you know what? Can I do a poll? Can I do a poll? Hold on. Let me see if I can do a poll. Let me see. Let me see. Right. I'm doing a poll. Right, there's a poll. Which striker are you keeping? That's what I want to know. Which striker are you keeping? Because I think there's a lot of division amongst the fan base. Should we be keeping Solanke? Should we be keeping Richarlison? And we go through this cycle, guys, right? Every time you start Richie, you go, oh my goodness, the guy can't do anything. We have to start Solanke. And then the games you start Solanke, you go, oh my goodness, this guy can't do anything. We have to start Richie. So we're always like, it's always the lesser of two evils with these two strikers. Look, obviously we hope that Marmoush is going to be confirmed in the next 24 hours or so. But I'm curious, which striker of the two are you keeping? Regardless whether we think that it's actually going to be, Solanke going, because at this point in time, Richarlison obviously just has 1 year left in his contract and it hasn't been renewed at this point in time. So you would imagine that and considering he's also been linked to Turkey as well, you'd imagine that he's the next one out the door. But anyway, he said on Solanke, he's another important player. We stayed up with Richarlison last season. I love him. I don't think he said it like that, but he said, I love him. He has a player. Sorry, I've got hay fever. He has to play much better than Brentford. Everyone makes mistakes, me included, as a first, which is interesting. I don't know what he's alluding to in that, what mistakes he's made. But anyway, but for us, the number 10 especially, when they defend man-to-man, we need the striker to protect the ball and help us get up the pitch. Solanke is another very important player. And it's true. I mean, I don't know whether he's like having a little dig here, whether he's saying that that Richarlison can't protect the ball and get us out the pitch, but Richarlison just goes down. He just goes down like a ton of bricks every time. Like wind could blow on the guy and he would topple over. Do you know what I mean? So it is incredibly frustrating that we're in this constant loop of which of our strikers is less bad. That's kind of where we're at with these two. So I like them both as individuals. Do I like them as our main strikers for Spurs? No. When we get Marmoush, will things change? We can only hope. We can only hope. So it sounds like Solanke might get a start in this game. I'm thinking that that might be the only start, but I still don't think he plays the whole game. I still think this might be just a change that he does to try and get up very early on in the game, and then he brings on Solanke for the Richarlison for the second half, because I don't know, we don't know from this how completely fit Solanke is if he can play 90 minutes. He said on the Carabao Cup, for me, it's like the Premier League. We have to play well and use the winning matches to change the mood. How many times have we heard that before, guys? We can, because we already did last season. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I think the Wolves game in particular was a bit of a turning point. And obviously then we finished the season on a high against Everton. I think also the environment has to change. The players, the people inside have to change this mentality. It's a challenge. We have to become a team. And it's true, they've got stuck in this rut where we just lose at home, right? So we have to break this habit, change the mentality. The quality of the players we had already in Brentford is enough for us to play better, maybe not to win, but to play better. So look, I'm happy that he's acknowledging the fact that it was a crap performance. What's he going to do about it? What are these players going to do about it going forward? So that is the updates that we had from the De Zerbi press conference. He's treating this like a Premier League game. I'd love to have a good cup run, but I think our priority for all of us would be not to get relegated. so so swings and roundabouts, guys, swings and roundabouts. What is the poll saying? 29 votes on the poll at the moment. Okay, so the majority of you at the moment is saying to keep Solanke. Okay. Okay, we'll come back to that at the end of the stream. What have you guys been saying in the meantime in regards to the updates? Marmoush is a gem, but we need another 10. The problem is with buying another 10 right now, Brian, is you've got Kudus, Kulusevski, Madison, Xavi, and Gallagher. So you have got 5 players that can play the 10. The problem is 4.5 of them, 4 of them aren't fit, and 1 of them is only half a 10. So yeah, it's you can't sell players that are injured, although there was speculated links, funny enough, today for Kudus to Atletico Madrid. He was considered an option from Atletico Madrid's attack. So that was coming from, I think it was from a Spanish source, and they were just exploring him as a summer option. But obviously he's not fit, and there was loads of bits and pieces around that. But look, there are clubs that are speculatively interested in Mo Kudus. I want the club to get a forward in before the window shuts. Gakpo is dead in the water, I believe. I don't know if it's dead in the water, Richard. I think it's just going to be a case of we're now competing against Man City, who obviously were probably pissed off that we took Marmoush and Savino. So they're like, I know. Gakpo's better than Pedro Neto, so we'll go after him. And then you guys can have Pedro Neto. So look, it's going to be a challenge to compete against Man City, that's for sure, because first of all, Gakpo already lives up north, so he might want to stay up north, right? He might want to stay in and around Liverpool, Manchester, Liverpool, not so far away. So there's a reason from that perspective. He might want Champions League football. That's another perspective. He might want to play for Maresca. From what we know so far, De Zerbi has been in constant communication and contact with Gakpo, and suggestively, he's been speaking to him every day. And we know, well, we've heard what a shark De Zerbi is, hounding these players, checking in every day, making sure they're okay. So I wouldn't say it's dead in the water, but I would say that it's going to be a highly competitive battle between the two teams. And who knows, maybe this could just be Man City trying to push the bid up for Gakpo just so that we pay more money. Who knows? Who knows? But I wouldn't say it's dead in the water. I would just say it's just become another hurdle for us to get the player over the line. If we can't get him, I don't know who we get. Obviously, we have been linked to a few other left wingers. I think we will get someone, but who? That remains to be seen. Just on this point, since the topic of transfers has already come up, The other player that we were linked to, obviously, was Rafael Leao on that left wing. So that could be an option. Rafael is still in and around the conversation for alternatives if we can't get Gakpo. So we might be looking at someone like Rafael Leao. There is also news. Who's the other one? We said Mudryk. The other player that we spoke about was it Yilmaz as well? So there are a few names on the shortlist, but I think in De Zerbi's ideal world, he would get his first choice target. And I think we can all agree that as good as like Yilmaz is, Gakpo is a really good player, as he showed us at the weekend and in the preseason as well. In terms of other players that have been linked, a random one, Jonathan Jesus from Cruzeiro, has been linked to Spurs centre back. Not sure why we would be looking at a 22-year-old Brazilian centre back. Don't know. Apparently, Nottingham Forest are also interested in the player. I don't think this is like a full solid link, but I think it just is indicative that maybe we're still in the market for a centre back. Although I think it's a bit late in the window to be looking at centre back, but I don't know. I don't know why he would be looking at. The Neco Williams story has circled back round as well. We obviously have been speaking about a right back. So to circle back round to that, this is according to Sammy Mockbell. Tottenham showed interest in Neco Williams. Exploratory talks for the fullback have taken place. Forest is not currently considering a sale, and they are focused at the moment on extending Williams' contract. So I don't think Neco Williams, from the sounds of it, is a player that we could get this transfer window. There has also been links as well with as in players going out. We've also been linked, or Pat Matasar, should I say, has been linked again with Nottingham Forest, Everton, Aston Villa, and Al Ahly. They are all monitoring Sarr. So I can't remember, was Sarr wasn't on the bench at the weekend, was he? Was he, guys? Do you remember? Was Sarr on the bench? I can't remember Sarr being on the bench. I can't remember Sarr being on the bench. I'm gonna have to fact check myself. Fact check. Was he on the bench? I don't think he was. Um, no. Oh yeah, that was right. Sar was had an illness or was injured or something like that. That was it. That was it. Sar was injured or some kind of injury. But look, he's been linked away from the club. The thing is, right now, guys, I think we still have to get 4 players at least off of our books, because you can only register 25 players. I think we currently have about 30 on our books. So we definitely need to get rid of. I mean, Vicario's gone on loan. Obviously, Dragusin's on loan. So we do have a couple of players on loan. So maybe that was, I think at the time it was 5 players, including Vicario, or 4 players, including Vicario. So maybe you're looking at Sarr, potentially Richie, Bergval. Well, we heard Bergval was going to stay, didn't we, in the press conference before the game on, well, before in the embargo section on Friday, we heard that Bergval was going to stay. So I don't know who we leave out of the squad if we only get rid of those 2 players. Maybe you leave out Xabi or you leave out Odebear, maybe, but you'd expect Odebear to be back before Xavi. So maybe you leave Xavi out until January, which is highly risky, I guess, just in case he is fit and ready to come back before, but you probably wouldn't want to push him back anyway. So a lot of decisions still to be made in the next week. Tonali is not a sitting DM. He isn't capable of doing that. It was evidenced against Brentford. We need a DM. Yes, I think I did know. I think he he switched a lot in rotation in play, is what I noticed, particularly when Bentancur and Fernandez came on in the second half. I thought they were actually better at it. So what I noticed, and you guys might have noticed something else, so if you did, let me know in the comments, but what I noticed was in the first half, because Brentford were pushing us so hard, we were going back into almost like a back 5, so you sort of had Tonali in front of the back line, whereas in the second half Bentancur was playing a bit more of a deeper role at times, which allowed Tonali and Fernandez to rotate a bit more in midfield. So I think in an ideal situation, you would have them rotating a bit more and playing off of each other rather than them being like a sitting DM. That's just what I'm gauging from what De Zerbi, how he would like them to play. So I wouldn't say that Brentford is anything to go by, because I don't think that's actually how he wants Tonali to play. I don't think he wants him just sitting back. He wants them to progress. So that's just my take. I mean, let me know, guys, if you saw something else. Sarah, do you think Spurs a striker like Morgan Gibbs White or Gakpo? Don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean, do we need a striker? I don't think we get Morgan Gibbs White. I don't think we're going to go in for a 10. I don't think we're going to go in for a 10. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but if you've got 5 players sitting on the bench, you can all play that position. What are you going to do? Bring in a 10? I mean, I'd take Alex Scott over Morgan Gibbs White, me personally. That's just me personally. But even if you did that, what are you then going to do? Just park Madison on the bench, or like not name him and not name Kulusevski in the squad? It's a bit, unless the rumours about Kulusevski about going on loan are true. Maybe that is another option. I don't know, because someone's going to miss out. Someone is going to miss out unless we can sell one more player in addition to Richarlison and Sarr. But let's guys, let me know in the comments if you've worked out how many players we are bloated by in the squad at the moment, how many we need to get rid of. If not, I'll have a little look in a minute. Liao rumours are circulating again. Yeah, we just covered that one as well. Big up to you, FPL. Welcome to the COYS Collective. To be honest, I would take Vuskovic over Van Hecker and kept Spence as a backup. Yeah, but Spence didn't want to stay. Spence wanted to leave. We've been through Spence. Liao at Villa. Yeah, I mean, Villa are in just as much disarray as we are right now, let's be honest. The injuries around your attacking unit are tragic. Kulusevski, Madison, Xavi, these players would thrive. I know. Tapster, it's actually painful at this point. It is painful because we have been saying this since January. It's crazy. It's crazy that we're now in August, 8 months on, and these players are still in. And not only that, Madison, again, re-injured, you know? So who was the 5th player that I said that can play? Gallagher, yeah. So, I mean, he's the only one that's fit. But is he fit for purpose? Probably not. Here we go. Work permits usually take 1 to 2 weeks on average. Love the channel. Big up to you, Rob. 1 to 2 weeks. Okay. Well, let's hope that they can expedite it and get it through quicker. I don't know. They must have a representative that can like run down to the passport office or the Brazilian embassy or something and get it done by the weekend. No, they got the money. They can pay it. Oh, hold on. What's this? Bradley Barcola. Hold on. What's this? Okay, sorry, this just popped up on my phone. So Bradley Barcola, obviously we are waiting for Liverpool to sign Bradley Barcola so that they can release Gakpo. They are holding, okay, they're currently holding talks is what the latest is. I mean, we've heard that before. We've heard the talks before. Oh, gosh, right, okay, we're going back round. Just hope that one can go through. I'd rather play Brandon Austin in the 10 than Gallagher. I don't know if we actually would. Yeah, Roberto Zoe is taking the kids. Greetings from Germany. Big up to you, Cave Webster. Big up to you. I saw as well, we had some people joining us from Croatia as well. Lots of Americans joining the channel as well. So big up to all of you, wherever you're watching. I do worry about Madison. As good as he is also so prone to injury. I personally think we need more creative consistency, and his fitness record doesn't fit. Yeah, I agree. So on this point, actually, while we're talking about it, the point that I wanted to make, because obviously De Zerbi did say in the press conference that Xavi will be a very big player for Spurs in future. And I was running back over his numbers when he was at PSV. And when we did the live the other day, I said to you guys, I was trying to find the stats. So PSV, that season that I just mentioned earlier in the stream, if you just jumped on, was that in 2022, when Xavi was 18, I think. He's 23 now, so 22 4 years ago. Yeah, 18. He was the top goal scorer for PSV that season, and he scored 19 goals. Attacking midfielder scored more than their centre forward, 19 goals. Now, if you look here, Gakpo was on the left wing and he scored 9 goals. And this was the season, as I said before, that he moved to Liverpool. In addition to that, in terms of assists, Gakpo for half a season got 12 assists. So you're talking about 21 goals and assists for Gakpo in half a season, and Xavi got a further 8 assists. So again, for Xavi as well, you're talking about 27 goals and assists in one season. Yes, I know it was for PSV, I know, but that season they did come second. They got beat to the title by Feyenoord. So when you look at the combination between Gakpo and Simmons and you think to yourself, well, why would we sign a player like Gakpo? It's because of this partnership. And I looked at how many goals they've actually scored with each other. So, in other words, like assisted and goals as a partnership. And typically, what I've noticed is even when they've played for the Netherlands, they've only like assisted each other 6, 7 times. And the reason for that is because they both play the Dutch third man ball. And what that means is you need the third player, i.e., Marmoush, who they can both play the ball to. And then you create that third man system, which De Zerbi probably would like to play because we know that he sort of likes this Dutch style football. And for those of you that don't know about a bit more history of this, there was actually a video on The Athletic. I think it was Tifo that did it yesterday, and it was all about like why De Zerbi's system is like it's his own downfall or something like that, like the way he sets it up, because this baiting of the press and everything, it's all in Pep Guardiola's book. I don't know, but they were basically saying why the system wouldn't work. But I think with the right players, you give yourself more opportunity to create more opportunities, right? So I do think that if you have Gakpo with Xavi and Sávio and Marmoush, you then create a bit more of a system up top. So we're not building for Maddison is fundamentally what I'm saying. We're not building this squad around Maddison. We're not building this squad around Kudus in a 10. We are building this squad, I think, from my lens, and let me know, guys, what you think. I think De Zerbi is building this squad with Xavi in mind as the 10. He is looking at this like, okay, in 2-3 years' time, Xavi is going to be the superstar. Who do we want around him? Who are the perfect ball players around him that we can make that happen? So I remember Alice talking, as in Alice Talks Football. I remember her talking last year about, these managers, they should be building the squad around Xavi because when he's fit, he is one of our best players. So thinking about the players that he's been bringing in, including even our back line, who also play with Xavi and Gakpo internationally, by the way. So maybe Robbo can go and give Gakpo a call. Hey, mate, how's it going at Liverpool? Fancy joining me here? Maybe Van der Ven and Van Hecker and Xavi could all give Gakpo a call as well, considering if we did get Gakpo, that would be 4 of our starting players would be, a third of our team effectively would be the Dutch squad. So I think there's method to the madness is what I'm trying to say. But I don't think that Maddison is being planned for. I don't think he's thinking, oh, who would be the great player beside Maddison? I know, Savinho and Gakpo. I think it's more he's buying for Xavi. What do you guys think? Do you think I'm onto something? Do you think that kind of makes sense? I mean, I would love to see these kinds of numbers at Spurs. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if Xavi could do a 27 goal assist season, I'd be bowled over. Even if he could get a 10 goal season, I'd be happy at this point. But yeah, just to give you some insight into maybe a different angle, because everyone is focusing on that Savio Xavi partnership. So maybe there's another partnership here that we're not looking at. I don't know why we spend 100 million on Tonali. Very similar profile to Fernandez and Sarr. I do agree about Sarr, I do agree about Sarr. I actually think Sarr's ceiling is higher than Bergvall. I actually think Sarr's ceiling is higher than Bergvall, but just the roll of the dice, I guess, and timing is very important. So particularly De Zerbi seems to have taken a bit of a a liking to Bergvall from this, and the fan base has as well. Let's not beat around the bush. I mean, the Bergvall lovers went very quiet at the weekend, and a lot of the Bergvall haters came back into the chat. I kind of noticed that there's kind of this bit of dynamic that comes out depending on Bergvall's performance. So it's hard to gauge where the fan base is with Bergvall. I've got to be honest. Some weeks people really love him, or we have this in our minds that he's like a better player than he actually is. Maybe it's a bit of that. But yeah, look, Tonali for me is a tank. I just think he's going to take time to click into this system. And fundamentally, none of the players individually were that great. Let's be honest. You know, as De Zerbi said, you need the soul, you need the heart and soul of the squad. And once you figure that out, then everything else is going to click into place. Oh, hold on, what's this? Sávio has had his registration confirmed and is eligible. Okay, Ronnie. Okay, where's this coming from? Where is that coming from? Is that a Romano stinker? Is it coming from I don't know, Plettenberg, Ornstein? I don't know. Who's the ITK this time? Is our ITK in the ITK? Latest is Madison. So what? Madison's injury is a long-term shoulder injury. Is that true? Is this all true? Don't wind me up. Is this a long term? I need to check this out now. 36 minutes ago. Okay, so Spurs secret prem. I don't know if they're a source. Further checks by Tottenham's medical teams on James Maddison's shoulder injury suggests he could be out for a while. Okay. Out for a while. What does that mean? What does that mean? He's broken his collarbone and we're not going to see him until 27, 28. Happy 30th birthday, Maddison. We'll see you in your next decade. Oh dear, poor guy, man. Poor guy. There's clearly something very fragile about that situation. I mean, maybe that's why De Zerbi was trying not to play him in that game. Maybe that's why we didn't see him all of pre-season. Maybe he was carrying something. You know, this is the thing. We only see so much. 23, building a team takes time. Not sure this summer is the right way. If Spurs had Yamal, what were you saying for ages, Ashley? You have to create chances to score goals, but people choose to be stupid and run agendas. I don't know what agendas people are running. Did we play at the weekend? Our season starts tomorrow. Yeah, well, they didn't turn up. There was a game, but it wasn't a competitive game. So that's why I put fresh start as the title for this video, because we need to wipe the slate clean, clear our minds and go again tomorrow. And then hopefully do it all again this weekend. It's like people need confirmation. It's embarrassing. Confirmation on what? I'm not sure what you're referring to, Ashley. We have apparently re-entered the race. Yeah, okay, Rafael Leao we've spoken. Okay, guys, I'm a bit behind on the chat. How's the poll going? Guys, if you're jumping in, please let us know who you'd rather keep at the moment. Most people are in favour. 2/3 of you are in favour for keeping Richie at this, Solanke at this point in time. Bentancur don't get paid by his wife. Club pays his wages. He should be prioritising the football club. His wife can hold it. I mean, that's a bit harsh. That's a bit harsh, isn't it? It's a bit harsh. No, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. Sorry, Ashley. We can agree to disagree. I think if a player's going through something at home, then they should be given the grace like any human would be. It doesn't, you can't no amount of money is going to take back the days that you get with your newborn baby. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that's a bit savage, to be honest. A lot of you are saying get a real backup right back. Yeah, well, we spoke about Neco Williams, but I don't think that can be done. Yeah, the Maddison rumor is true, because if you're just jumping in, Daniel, that is what De Zerbi said in his press conference. So we know for a fact that he is out with injury. Whether it's long term or not, we don't know. But anyway, right, that is the situation with just a bit of digging that I did into the Xavi Gakpo partnership, the updates of Gakpo. Let's just fingers crossed. Please, De Zerbi, just I don't know, just hound Gakpo. Just all of the squad just need to like message him and just tell him not to go to Man City. Right, let's move on to the lineup. Right, so we already know that Pedro Porro and Mickey van der Ven are going to be on the bench. Guys, is Kinski starting or is Dubravka starting? I am going to put Kinski because I think Kinski needs a bit of a confidence boost. But let me know, guys, would you start Dubravka? I think, as I said in the video that I did earlier today, I don't think De Zerbi is going to make too many changes because he needs this squad to click and to gel and to learn before the weekend. So this is almost like a practice run of what went wrong at the weekend and to try and rectify it rather than making so many changes that the squad is unrecognizable and then you go against Newcastle and it's not what you hope. Having said that, we know that players are getting injured already. Game week 1, obviously. It pissed me off. Pissed me off, Madison. So we don't want any more injuries, guys. So right back is obviously going to be Archie Gray. I wonder whether he's going to be the captain again. We are going to probably see Van Hecke. I can't see him putting in Danso. I think Van Hecke needs a bit of redemption in this game. He's going to need to be much better on the ball than he was against Brentford on the weekend. I would put Senesi here as well. I don't know if Senesi plays the full game. I think we do see Van der Ven in this game, and it will be an opportunity for us to see Van Hecke and Van der Ven partnership for the first time this season. Because I'm going to the game, I'll try and get us some footage if that does happen. Senesi for me grew into the game. There was definitely some Argentinian traits that came about in the game against Brentford on the weekend where he pulled the player by the shirt and swung him round. In another game that probably gets given as a penalty, but we got a little bit lucky, I think, because I think the penalty came from Bentancur, didn't it? But that was definitely a foul. So I think Senesi needs to be a little bit careful just to temper that Argentinian crazy side, shall we say that? He needs to probably just simmer down, and I think that will happen when he grows more into the game. Left back, I'm wondering if Udogie starts here, but I do think with the inexperience of the players, he definitely showed leadership in the game in the weekend. So I would start Robertson and I would bring Udogie on. Maybe not as early as half time, depending on game state. But we do not want another Maddison situation with Udogie. And so if there's any evidence that says, well, these players are not match fit, given that Maddison is now injured, do not play Udogie. Wrap the guy in cotton wool. I don't care. We've got Robertson. There is no need to play Udogie, even if he's the better player, at risk of injuring him. So in terms of our midfield, I think Tonali starts again. Question for you guys. I did ask earlier, do you guys think that Bergvall or Fernandez starts? I can't remember where I asked it and I'm a bit behind on the chat. So what was people's thinking about Bergvall or Fernandez starting this game? Yes, Ray, it is bad news. Unfortunately, it is bad news. What did you guys say? I really would love to see Fernandez start this game. I'm just thinking about it in my head. I just think that given Maddison is now, I'm just scrolling back through your comments, given now that the Maddison is injured, wrap Fernandez in cotton wool. Just wrap him in cotton wool is what I'm thinking. Oh, I wonder if we see Bergvall. What are you guys saying? I can't find it, and I can't find where I asked the question earlier. If there's any chats on it. You guys are saying Bentancur. Bergvall. I think it's going to be Bergvall. It has to be Fernandez. Ooh. Okay, so we're 50-50. We're 50-50. Okay, I can't find where I asked it in the chat earlier what you guys had said. So, I still think Bergvall will end up going there to the end. Okay. Did we reject 60 mil for Bergvall? No, did we? Okay, some of you are saying Bergvall, some of you are saying Fernandez, some of you are saying Bentancur. Some of you are saying rest Tonali. No, I think I think you got to play Tonali because the reason why you've got to play Tonali is because you need this backline to click, and the only way they're going to learn is by playing together. If you bench Tonali and you play Bentancur, then you go into Newcastle with a different squad again. So I think they need to look. Okay, you would love to get through. You would love to beat Charlton, obviously, and I still think even if you play Bentancur, you probably still win. But I just think you need to learn quickly. These players need to learn quickly. Otherwise, we are going to get battered this weekend. So for me, I think Tonali needs to start with this back line. I'm gonna put Bergval. I'm gonna put Bergval, guys. I would love to see Fernandez. I think Fernandez needs the start, but because we've heard that he had a calf injury, we cannot afford another injury. We just cannot afford it, especially as last game, I think Fernandez came on and played a bit of the 10 role for a bit because we had to take Gallagher off because he was so bad. So maybe this is a redemption arc. You've only got Gallagher here. And then the thing is, if you play Fernandez where Bergval is, you've got to play Gallagher. Whereas if you play Fernandez, you can play Fernandez in the 10. You can do it. It's not ideal, but you can do it. And then you can play Bentancur here. So there is another option here in terms of our lineup. Our right wing, Mikey Moore, got to do a little bit better. Although I think he still does go on loan. Someone said in the comments a little bit earlier that the visa situation for Sávio has been confirmed and he will be available tomorrow. I don't know without a training session if he starts. I think he will make an appearance. I think he will come on. But given that he hasn't been in training, he's another player. We cannot have him coming on for 90 minutes and bloody getting injured. So we're already talking about injuries after game week 1. It's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. Left wing, we've obviously got one option. We've obviously got one option, and that's Tell. You could put Sávio. You could put Sávio on the left, realistically. Why is Sarah repeating the same lineup? You know, Ben Davis is he? Is Ben Davis starting tomorrow? Is that true? Cams? Do we know that I mean, he could do. He could start Ben Davis there. I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't be against it. The reason why I'm using the same lineup is because this team has to learn fast. They have to learn fast, and the only way of doing that is getting them to play competitive games together. If they don't play like this tomorrow, then we're using Newcastle as another test, aren't we, really? So I'm putting Solanke in. I mean, look, guys, I might be wrong. I might be wrong. You guys might be right. Maybe Ben Davis will start. Control C, Control V. Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong. And I do agree. Yeah, see, Mika's saying you could swap Bergval and Gallagher. In other words, you could play maybe Bergval a little bit further forward. I do think that there were points in the game that Bergval did get pushed a little bit high up the pitch, and maybe that was a bit of like habit from last season because he did play the 10 quite a bit last season, so maybe that was also like a little bit of habit. But I also think, as I said, De Zerbi plays the switch, so you have the 3 in the midfield switching quite a lot, so maybe that's part of it as well. But yeah, I've done it the same lineup based on what De Zerbi said in his press conference, that we need to learn from this and basically go again. What was it that he said? He said something in the press conference. See, look, he's even said here Bentancur came the first week of August. So does that mean Bentancur doesn't start? Fernandez had an injury. So, he's reiterating that. So I don't see why he would start 3 days after the last game if he's close to injury. You got Williams Barnett, actually, but I reckon he'll start on the bench. I reckon he did say something about the team, but yeah, we've already been through that, so that's what I was thinking. Ben Davis shouldn't be in the teams. Real clubs have a youngster in that spot to develop. I I mean, we already have a youngster in the back line, and that's Archie Gray, and people don't love that right now. So I wouldn't get too carried away about the youngsters. I think we saw what our youngsters can do in Mikey Moore and Archie Gray, didn't we? So yeah. I think Gallagher in a deeper role and Bergvall further forward would benefit both of them. It's possible he could do that. He could do that. Um, some of you are saying Bentancur and Gallagher. Okay. Well, look, they're all predictions, right? It could go any which way. I don't mind any of it. I don't mind any of it. We just need to do better than we did against Brentford. And you would hope that we would against Charlton, but everyone was talking about us going down to the championship. So if this is a tough game, we are going to get stick, guys. We are going to get the brunt of it. Oh dear, Spurs fans, man. What is our life? What is our life? At a point, Tonali was our left winger. We just, yeah, we are, yeah, we are playing total football in a way, for sure. I can definitely see that. There's elements of it. I wouldn't say it's constantly like that, but De Zerbi, look, total football is a Dutch principle, right? So that would make total sense. Total, excuse the pun, but it would make total sense being influenced by Dutch and Bielsa, you know, all these things that have been broken down numerous times before. That is why, exactly why Cody Gakpo would be good, because he can play total football, right? So, yeah, there is a lot of interchanging. Whether it works or not, I think it's going to take time for these players to get used to it. And there was also speculation in that. What was the Athletic? I have to find this video for you guys. Was it, maybe it was Tifo? Is it Tifo? It might have been Tifo. I'll find out for you guys, and I can always put it in the comments later. But yeah, there was an analysis on, you know, sort of why De Zerbi's football is basically setting up for failure. Love it. Game week 1. De Zerbi's already set up for failure. I mean, give the guy a chance. Why is Gray starting at right back? Well, that's based on De Zerbi saying that Pedro Porro will start on the bench. De Zerbi said both Van der Ven and Porro will be on the bench. So that's why. But he might surprise us. He might surprise us. He might start Pedro Porro for the first 45 minutes and then bring on Gray. That's possible. He might have just been saying it to throw us all off the scent. We can only hope. Which bit? What is your understanding of what he said? Which bit are we referring to? Yeah, I mean, it's not a great front. Look, there's conflicting comments for conflicting opinions, even in this comment and even in this chat, right? Some people are saying give the youngsters a chance, and other people are saying our youngsters aren't very good, including Graham Moore. So you can't win them all, you know? You can't win them all. You got to make a sacrifice. It's sacrifices that have to be made until we get the Marmoush official announcement, hopefully tomorrow. I'm guessing there's been no updates on that front. I'm guessing there's been no updates. No. I think we'd all hear it by now. Breaking news. Liverpool PSG holding talks over Barcola. Barcola does not want to sign a new deal. That's good for us, isn't it? That's good for us, I think. I mean, their talks are ongoing longer than our bloody talks, I swear. We need Liverpool to sign Barcola. We need them to sign him so that we can move on Gakpo. But I don't know. It's looking less and less likely by the day, you know, especially if Man City are sniffing around. Rather play Jamie Donnelly in the 10. It's an option. It's an option. Did Jamie Donnelly play in the... No, he can't. He's not in the under-21 squad, is he? He's not in the under... Is he in the under-21 squad? I know that the under-21s beat Newcastle yesterday. I know that they did that. No, I don't think he was in the squad. Maybe you're right, actually. I don't think he was even in the squad. Tottenham under-21s. Is he even? I don't think he was even in the squad. So maybe you're right. Maybe Donnelly could be an option. Who played? Ajayi, Dorrington, Hardy, Byrne, Elliot Paris. Okay, so a lot of names that we saw. A lot of names actually that we saw in the pre-season. They all played in the under-21s. Donnelly was not on the bench. I don't know if he's too old now to play for the under-21s. I thought he had one more season, but maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about that. So yeah, maybe Donnelly is an option. I don't think he throws him in though. Don't think he needs this team to click. He needs this team to click by Saturday. Well, not by Saturday, but we need to have a better performance on Saturday than we did last Saturday for sure. Still a few days left for Archie to come around and get the hell out of Dodge. Apparently, at one point, Newcastle were in for Archie Gray. They wanted him for 60 mil, apparently. Who knows? Maybe I can't. We're not going to sell Archie Gray. We're not going to. Surely we can't sell Archie Gray after we just made him captain. Surely. Do you know what though? I kind of feel like if De Zerbi plays the same team and Archie Gray is captain and they have a good game, everyone will think very differently. And then we'll go into the Newcastle game with a completely different mindset about these players. So this is maybe like a bit of a redemption game in a way. We have spent lots of money, but still I don't feel that confident because of the dross we saw the last two seasons. Yeah, I mean this is what De Zerbi is saying, Ash. We need to get this out of our system. We need to just change the mentality around the club. Yeah, I agree, Stephen. I've got a feeling. I mean, look, it could go any which way. It could go any which way. But I think he needs more game time with these players together. This could be very much a Man United versus Grimsby game last year when Man United got knocked out under Amorim, you know. This could be. I hope it's not. I hope it's not. I'm interested to see what the vibe is like tomorrow around the ground. It's going to be very interesting considering it's our first home game of the season and it's going to be a cup game rather than going to be a Prem game, because you typically, I don't know guys, let me know in the chat if you're going tomorrow. Typically, for those of you that aren't in the UK, you do see a different fan base. You see a different fan base for the cup games. You see a lot more tourist fans. You see a lot more kids going to the games. It is still summer holidays, so I'm expecting us to have a lot more junior tickets sold. I don't know how much the junior tickets are. I think they might have been 35 quid. I'm not sure how much they were, but typically you tend to see like a lot more family outings. It is also a 7:45 kickoff and not an 8 o'clock kickoff. So I do think the environment or like the stands will be different to what we'll see on Saturday. I do think that it's something that I've noticed. I don't know whether it's because our stadium is so big and a lot of people don't necessarily buy their tickets for the cup games, and one of those reasons why is because our season tickets are so expensive. A lot of people just say, well, they're not going to go to the cup games and they just go to the Prem games. So that does happen as well. Personally, I think what guys, do we have any predictions for tomorrow, or are the games too hard to predict at this point in time? I don't know. I don't even know. After last time, I don't even know if I want to do a prediction. That's the truth. Yeah, last time everyone was like, Sarah, you were so positive about Brentford. How dare you be so optimistic? How dare you? And in the game that you're not optimistic, we always seem to do well. So I don't know what to think anymore. Tottenham is just so unpredictable. As my dad said, we're Spurs. We don't make life easy, and we perform when you don't expect us to, and we don't do well when you have the expectation that we will. So that is just Spurs. That is literally Spurs in a nutshell. Gray right back again. You love it. I mean, I'd love us to get someone at the right back, but I just we've looked at a few things, but I can't see us actually getting a right back. If we got a right back and didn't get a left wing, would that be okay? I'm just thinking. I don't think it would be. I think most people would probably want a left wing over a right back. But then you go into the season and you go, oh, Pedro Porro is our fittest player, and then you know what's going to happen. Don't want to jinx it. Touch wood. Touch wood. I would love to see Williams Barnett start tomorrow. Yeah, I'll big up Ivor. Everyone's jumping in, being like, Maddison's new injury. Yes, Maddison is injured again. Shoulder injury, which speculatively some people have been jumping into the comments saying that it is going to be out for a while. A while. Maybe he'll make the 27-28 start. Who knows? Who knows, guys? Who knows? Oh dear. How long is his contract? I don't know how long his contract is, how long he's contracted for. If I'm De Zerbi, though, I'm thinking to myself, bloody hell, get me another number 10. Just, I don't know, put one of Kulusevski, Xavi, or Maddison out on loan. One of them, please. Oh, devastating, devastating. How can we go into the third season in a row, third season in a row without a number 10? How can we be doing this? It's actually madness. We bought Xavi as a panic buy last year, which might turn out to actually be a blessing in disguise. But even then, and on the Marmoush point, some of you were saying, sorry to go off piece here, but some of you were saying that I was I was being a bit too cautious about Marmoush was it yesterday's live or Sunday's live? Some of you were saying that I was being a bit too overly cautious. I think I've just been burnt. I've been burnt by Moani, the last striker that we had on loan. I've been burnt by him. And so, yeah, I'm excited about Marmoush, but I'm also like, well, loan spells don't go particularly well for Spurs. And I know there might be conditions to buy, but those conditions might be play 2 games all season and he plays 1 game and gets a shoulder injury like Maddison. Do you know what I mean? Or it could be like score 5 goals and he scores 4 and then he gets injured. Like, you just don't know. You just don't know. So look, and then the conditions equally could be really easily met and then he's not very good for us. And then people won't want him. So I think loans are very, very tricky to get right. They're very tricky to get right, loan spells. And yeah, for me personally, I'm so traumatized by the whole Moani situation last year. And yeah, I have my reservations about getting him on loan, put it that way. Rightly or wrongly, rightly or wrongly. I just think that players play differently when they know that they are at their club and they are committed to that club. Even if he's coming here with the intention that next year he is going to sign for us, I still think that there's that sort of like mindset of like, oh, if I don't meet my obligations, then I don't have to stay here. If they find out that it's like not what they thought it was. Do you guys know what I mean by that? As in, like, you're not fully committed in a way. Like, there's always the option that you can back out. So maybe I was being a bit harsh yesterday, and I am excited for Marmoush, but I also think he just needs to prove himself. And I think I'm not convinced about the loan situation. And if we don't get Gakpo, there is a case where we actually get a left wing on loan, maybe. Like, I don't know. I don't know what happens. If Gakpo does end up if Gakpo stays at Liverpool, I think that's different. Then maybe we get a player on loan and then we wait for Gakpo to become available. If Gakpo signs for Man City, that's first choice gone. And so then we have to get someone else, So depending how this all plays out, there's a lot of different things that could still happen. We might not actually get a left wing. We could still get someone on loan. And it could be like for example, it could be Liao on loan. Right? Yeah. Anyway, sorry guys. I was just thinking yesterday about all the comments of my video that I did about Marmoush and announcing the Here We Go. And so many people were like, Sarah, you're so negative. Don't be against loan spells. And I'm like, oh my God, guys, have we forgotten already about Moani? We've forgotten already. Who else? Yeah, we had Paulinho on loan. That was a good one. Yeah. Anyone else watch Chelsea last night? I hate to say it, but that's what I expect Spurs to play like. Big up to you, Toto. Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. I watched sort of like the last 20 minutes or so. They still have growing to do, but hey, they've bought an attacking force, and Cole Palmer is playing better than he was last season. So, I mean, we haven't bought a Danny Welbeck. We haven't bought anyone right now. We have just got Marmoush on loan, which is not confirmed. So they have a strike force. They have an attack. So yeah, I'd expect Spurs to play like that as well. when we get an actual attack, and not, with the greatest of respect to Mikey Moore, not a 19-year-old on right wing who doesn't shoot with conviction. He just needs confidence. He needs confidence. That's what it is. So they always say, you know, it's not about the age of a player, it's about whether the player is ready. And he's not ready. So, yeah. Anyway, guys. Link is useless. Great. Wait, what's the link? What's the link? Who's the link? That's breaking news about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I think we should play 4-3-3. Yeah, we could change formation. I just think that he's going to want to get it right. I just think, Arrow, that he's going to want to get it right for Saturday, or at least try to move in that direction. Yeah, he's on the bench. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't mean he's not going to start, but I just don't think he will. I think if we're winning like 2-0 or 3-0, which I can't see where any of our goals are going to come from, but let's say that is the case, then maybe he does come on. But is Williams Barnett better than Mikey Moore? Probably. Probably. Is Mikey Moore more ready to start? Well, on that basis, you'd probably say start Williams Barnett, wouldn't you? So, look, you've got to protect the youngsters as well. Ange always used to bang that drum, didn't he? Ange always used to bang that drum. Oh, you've got to protect the players. You've got to protect the players. And he was always protecting Archie Gray and Bergvall and even Mikey Moore. How crazy is that? That's 3 years ago now. No, 2 years ago. We signed Bergvall and Gray 2 years ago. So at the time, Mikey Moore was 17. And in that season, we played in Europa and Ange threw them all in the deep end after him saying they needed to protect them. So it's mad that we're still sitting here, 2026, 2 years on, being like, oh, they've still got growing to do. Pisses me off. Anyway, I didn't think I'm so annoyed about it, but clearly I am. Clearly I am. Do you know what, actually, on this, left wing back on the bench, I wonder if Salza goes on the bench. And do you know what, guys? Robertson played right wing, didn't he? Robertson played right wing. Didn't Archie Gray go off in the Brentford game and Udogi came on and Robertson moved to the right wing or something like that? I feel like that happened. Unless I completely made that up. I'm pretty sure that happened last game. I feel like I need to check unless I'm completely wrong. So have I remembered that correctly? My memory can be a bit hazy. Yeah, Gray went off at 86 minutes. Yeah, Gray went off at 86 minutes. Udogi came on at 86 minutes, and I'm pretty sure Robertson moved to the right wing. So there is that option as well. There is that option. Sorry, right back. Yes, some of you are saying right back. Yes, sorry, my bad. Yeah, it was right back. Don't know why I said right wing. Maybe I was being optimistic that we had another right winger that we didn't know about. Oh dear. Morgan Gibbs White, I don't think is a De Zerbi player. I don't think he's a De Zerbi player, to be honest. We're not going to get. There's been no links with Morgan Gibbs White whatsoever. I think it's more likely that you get Alex Scott, but Alex Scott is linked to the City, and we actually haven't been linked to any number 10. So if that did happen, that would be completely out of the blue. It will be interesting to see if Marmoush is announced tomorrow in the press conference after the game, what he says about the state of the squad. Because we all know that he wants COYS Gakpo. We all know that. He said when we had 6 players, we were 60% done. That means 4 more. So now we're 70%. Marmoush will be 80%. Gakpo would be 90% if we can get him. So who's the 100%? Is that a right back? Is it a number 10? I just can't see us getting another number 10 if we've got 5 on the bench that are injured. It just makes no sense. Makes no sense. Then we really are pissing money down the drain. No more than 2 youngsters playing in the team at any one time. That's what Roberto De Zerbi alluded to today. He said 4 was too many on the field at the same time. Oh, interesting. Okay. Youngsters. Okay. So what constitutes as a youngster? What constitutes as a youngster, mafioso? Is Gray counted as a youngster? You can't really count him as a youngster if he's captain. Can you? Maybe. You can't really count Tell as a youngster, can you? I guess the youngster would be Mikey Moore. I think you're talking about maybe like Hardy and Williams Barnett and Donnelly or something like that, maybe. But yeah, I would even say extend that to depending on the game state as well. You know, if you're 3-0 up, fair enough. You throw two, three kids in. If you're 3-0 down, you're just not going to take the risk. You're just not going to take the risk. Yeah, okay. Some of you say, yeah, okay. So we did play Udogie as left back and Robertson at right back. Do you think actually he was testing it for this game? I'm wondering now, do we think he was testing it? Robertson's not really a right back. But if Archie Gray was really not very good at right back, is there a case to suggest that we have Udogie as left back and Robertson as right back? I can't really see it as a starting lineup, but it is an interesting thing to take away and maybe think about for future. Okay, so you guys are saying Tell, Gray, Moore, and Bergval would be 4 youngsters. Unfortunately, though, you can't really cut that down to 2 at the moment, can you? I mean, isn't Tell the same age now as? Well, hold on. Fernandez, same age. Fernandez is the same age, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah, pretty sure. Uh, yeah, so Fernandez is 22. So he's a youngster as well. Tell is 21. Savio's 22. So they're all young kids, really. They're all 22. I mean, don't forget, Udogie's still only 23. Udogie's still only 23. I think because Udogie's been with us for so long, people think he's older than he is. He's still a young guy, Udogie. He's still got a lot of growing to do as well. Udogie's 23. So he's not much older, realistically. I mean, we're not talking about players who are like in their prime, right? Um, okay. So you're saying 23 can't be classed as youngster. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Fernandez, 22. Oh dear. Marmoush and Savino must start versus Newcastle. I mean, it all depends on this work permit situation. Someone said in the comments earlier that it had been done, but yes, I think we just need to leave this here because Spence did not want to stay. I'm just going to check what this visa situation, Sávio work permit, is that true? Because someone came into the comments earlier and said that it's been done. No, it just says subject to his work permit. It doesn't actually say. I mean, if someone has some intel that it has been done, I mean, all I'm seeing is Madison's injury could be long term. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Yeah, okay. Okay. You guys, you might be onto something because good news from Alistair Gold. Good news from Alistair Gold. Sávio has had his registration with the Premier League and FA confirmed, and he's now eligible to make his Spurs debut tomorrow night against Charlton. Is he, though? He's got to. He's got to, surely. Let's change it. Let's change it. He's still listed as Man United. We're putting him in. We're putting him in. We're throwing him in the deep end because, according to Alistair Gold, this is the latest update. This was an hour ago, so this would have been announced whilst we were on stream. So maybe some of you did see that. And on the Madison front, I'm just seeing if there was anything. Okay, I'm seeing sources saying it's a bad injury. He fell awkwardly on his shoulder after coming on. Okay, I don't know whether people are just jumping on this bandwagon. I don't know if people are just jumping on the bandwagon. It's all the usual sources. Another Maddison injury. I mean, De Zerbi said it was a small injury, didn't he? Maddison, he said in the press conference, Maddison suffered a small injury on the shoulder. But what I'm reading online, and I'm just going on what people are saying on Twitter, what the craze is. I mean, the thing is, people can get a bit caught up in it. People are saying it's another long-term injury. Doesn't sound good, that's for sure. It doesn't sound good. Okay, some people are just saying out for a while. Okay, so with every good news comes some bad news. Oh dear. So this is like the... Let me get you guys back up. Right. The good news is Alistair Gold is saying Savino can start. Savio. Sorry, guys, it's going to take me a while. Right. Good news is Savio can start. That is the good news. The bad news is that, okay, so it says this was 2 hours ago, and obviously this is just Grok analysing the general sentiment. Tottenham fell 3-0, blah, blah, blah. The 29-year-old England midfielder, back from serious knee injury, sustained a shoulder knock and will be assessed, though there's optimism for this weekend's match. Brentford's new 30. Okay, so fans noted that Maddison's past quality despite limited full game time since 2023 while hanging. Okay, right, okay. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. Oh no. Okay, so we know that he's been assessed now. Out for what this is saying it's a bad injury, but I don't know who the bloody hell the source is. What does that mean? So yeah, I don't know if he's available. Okay. I mean, we should really just go on what Alistair Gold says because he's the most in the know, isn't he? Yeah, he said small injury. I mean, we all well, I watched the press conference. He did say small injury. So, oh dear, guys. You win some, you lose some. That is the cycle of Spurs. Our tens are cursed. Our tens are cursed. It's just not meant to be, mate, is it? Not meant to be either. Maybe they need to get an operation. Maybe they'll feel much better about it. Can't believe it. I can't believe it. I bet Maddison is just so gutted. Well, at least we'll get another YouTube update from him soon. Oh, is this... Ronnie, where are you getting this from, mate? Where are you getting this from? Tottenham Hotspur are understood to be considering buying a replacement for James Maddison. Where's this coming from, though? There's just so much news online about this whole Morgan Gibbs White thing, and like, it's not even... I don't even think this is like a thing. I haven't seen anything. He's not for sale. He's not for sale. According to the Daily Mail, Nottingham Forest manager Oliver Glasner has told reporters that Morgan Gibbs White is not for sale before transfer deadline day. Glasner stated, and by the way, this was in reference to the speculation that Chelsea were in for Morgan Gibbs White, and so were Man United, and so were Bayern Munich. So there have been clubs in for him, but it says here this was last week, so things might change. Glasner stated that it was clear after selling Elliot Anderson that none of their starters will leave the club, adding that this is a commitment from the ownership and that no player has asked to leave. The manager also said that the possibility of Gibbs White leaving was never a topic and that they had a non-verbal agreement because they want to be successful. He explained that selling starters does not make sense if the squad is to be strengthened. The Daily Mail also reported that Chelsea had registered their interest in Gibbs White earlier in the summer. The player changed his agent earlier in the summer and is now represented by Roof. So that's the update. Gibbs White is not for sale. I know Spurs fans would love it, but he's not for sale, according to Glasner. Who do you believe? Who do you believe? Do you believe Glasner? Do you believe Forest? I mean, I believe it, you know. I believe it. I can't. Why would he say that? Why would he say that? And besides which, Forest have done really well at reinforcing their squad, you know. Anyway, guys, right. Wait, what are you guys saying? Hold on. Wait. What? It's from Sizzy. Sizzy. What is he saying? Um, he hasn't posted. Sizzy hasn't posted anything. He hasn't posted anything. I'm looking now. Um, I mean, if you want to go by that, guys, Sizzy also said an hour ago, we can confirm Marmoush is still in Manchester. So maybe you want to believe that we're interested in Morgan Gibbs White, but then you're also saying that you believe his take that Marmoush is still in Manchester. There you go. He's saying that he was saying Marmoush is driving around Manchester and there's no medical. After people are saying that Marmoush was spotted in London. So do you believe it? I don't believe the Morgan Gibbs White thing. I'd love it, but I don't believe it. That's yeah. So maybe Sizzy is right, but I can't personally can't see um anything on that. Um Ronnie is just trolling. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, look, it's not surprising because a lot of people have said that they would really like to get Morgan Gibbs White, but I personally don't think he's a De Zerbi player, really. And it doesn't look like he's for sale. He's not for sale, you know. If Chelsea couldn't get him out, how the hell are we supposed to get him out after we burned bridges last year and we're not going to sell them Bergval? Um, right, guys. Okay, so the update was Sávio is ready to start tomorrow. Medical passed, apparently. According to Alistair Gold an hour ago, he is fit, ready, and available to start tomorrow. We know that it was announced today. He probably hasn't had a training session. He hasn't trained in over a week because he refused to train for Man City. So who knows whether that's going to be a good thing or not. In terms of the poll that we did earlier, I asked you guys which striker are you keeping in the chat, and 70% of you said you're keeping Solanke. 70% of you said you're keeping Solanke. 30% of you said you're getting rid. Sorry, 30% of you said that you're keeping Richarlison. In other words, people are in favour more so of selling Richarlison this transfer window, and we know that one of them has to go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, someone said I thought Marmoush was at the Spurs training ground today. Who knows what's true? Who knows what's true? You know, it's maybe he is, maybe he isn't. We'd all love to know that he is, I'm sure, but will it get done by tomorrow? I think the Spurs want to announce it at the ground. I think that would be a nice touch, but it might be the case that he doesn't get signed. They're all focusing on tomorrow. Thursday he gets signed and then he plays against Newcastle. I don't know. Guys, find a free agent in the 10. Yeah, we need to sort out this 10. Yeah. Okay, so apparently Caesar replied, "We are now considering Scott." There you go. I don't know. He's throwing out all sorts. He's throwing out all sorts. We've heard the links from Alex Scott. I'll check the news on Alex Scott quickly. What is the news? Where is he? Alex Scott. News on Alex Scott. News is Bournemouth expect Alex Scott to remain at the club and have already rejected approaches from interested clubs. Sky Sports previously reported that Arsenal have shown strong interest in the player. He's also been linked. There have been 3 separate bids from Chelsea that Bournemouth have turned down. Man City also linked with Alex Scott. And he has also rejected Man United in the last few days. So he's rejected Arsenal, he's rejected Chelsea, he's rejected Man United, he's rejected Man City. Guess what? He's going to come to Spurs. I highly doubt it. I highly, highly doubt it. I'd love it, but it doesn't sound good, guys. Yeah, sign Dele Alli. I don't know, Dele Alli redemption. I mean, we've had worse ideas. We've had worse ideas. Right. Okay, guys. We should swap Gallagher for Alex. The thing is, guys, Bournemouth have European football. They're reinforcing their squad. Forest, these clubs that have traditionally been selling clubs, we're late in the window now. We're late in the window. And so this is why good clubs do their business early, right? This is exactly why good clubs do their business early. We did a lot of our good business early in the transfer window. Now, if you're going to go after Bournemouth's best player or Forest's best player, you're not giving them enough time to replace their best players. At least when Elliot Anderson was sold earlier in the transfer window, they've had all summer to go and buy someone else. You know, even with Newcastle, they've had time to go and buy replacements. To go in now, once the season has already started, you're a week away, like, I just can't see. I mean, I just can't see Morgan Gibbs White or Alex Scott being options, realistically. I just think these are names being thrown out from the fan base because it's who we would love to get rather than who the manager actually wants at the club. And they're going to be profiles like Xavi Simons. That's realistically. Maybe we get someone on loan. Maybe we get a right back, but I think it also depends how close Kudus is. If Kudus is like 2 weeks away, then maybe you can give Gallagher the next 2 games. You give him Newcastle and whoever's after that, I can't remember. And then you bring Kudus into the 10. That's an option. But guys, if we're getting Marmoush, he can play the 10. Marmoush can play the 10. And it would look something like this. It's not going to happen this week. It's not going to happen this weekend, right? But just to imagine if Marmoush does come, right? By next week, and let's say we get Gakpo as well. This is hypothetical now. I'm not talking about this weekend. Our best starting lineup would look like this, realistically. And maybe you'd have a conversation about Udogie and Robertson, which, as we said earlier, is probably our strongest position, right? But you could play this lineup. So Marmoush can play in the 10. He can also play left and he can play right. Marmoush is a very versatile player, which is exactly why we need him. So, yes, Maddison is injured, but the quicker we can get Marmoush over the line, the quicker we can have him play. It could even be like sort of like 2 up top. You could sort of do 4-1-3-2, something like that. Maybe you could, maybe I'm not saying he will, but like you could do it. Something like that. I don't know. I don't think he will, but you have options if you have Marmoush. That's what I think. Whereas at the moment, yeah, we're playing Gallagher in the 10 until Marmoush. So I don't know if 10's a priority. I think maybe a right back would be more of a priority. For me personally, I'm okay with Bergwall going, although now I don't think he does. And then you can play Gallagher in the 8. So, yeah. So that's our ideal lineup. In an ideal world, in De Zerbi's dreams, give me Cody Gakpo right now. Give me Marmoush. Happy days. Happy days. But we're way off this happening. And even if this does happen, guys, and then Richie goes, and then Solanke gets injured, then we're screwed. Then we're screwed, because then you go back to this. if Solanke gets injured because you sell Richie, then you go back to this, which is not really what you want, you know? It's not really what you want. So, yeah, let's assume Maddison's a long-term injury. You've got to wait till January for Xavi. Who's next in line? probably Kudus is closer than Kudus is probably closer than Kulusevski. So then you're playing like this. So come October, we could be playing this. Oh, dear. Makeshift again. Oh dear, guys. I don't think I've ready so now. Yeah, well, he's not. The update was what was the update before? Let me just check the Barcola. What was the Barcola situation? But we heard that Liverpool needed to get two wingers in, didn't we, for them to sell? So the update on Barcola. Okay, Fabrizio Romano stated his expectation that Liverpool will make a very strong and decisive attempt to sign Bradley Barcola, with whom personal terms are in place. That's good. Liverpool's hierarchy are in daily contact with PSG. PSG's original asking price was £145 billion, and numerous sources and reports claimed it decreased to approximately £125 million after PSG signed three new forwards. Okay, so if PSG have signed three new forwards, which I wasn't aware of, Graham Bailey was then exclusively told that PSG have now reduced the price to £119 million. Fabrizio Romano reported that Liverpool and PSG are in direct exchange daily. Okay, fine. So this is a financial situation. Personal terms are agreed. This is just financial talk now. That will happen. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that will happen. In terms of the second winger that Liverpool wanted. Right, so obviously, even if they manage to get Barcola over, you obviously still have the Man United bomber to navigate. Who was it? It was Ibrahim and Mbaye, wasn't it? It was Mbaye. So right, it's reported, this is coming from L'Equipe, that Liverpool attempted to negotiate a package deal that included Bradley Barcola, but PSG indicated it wanted to proceed with two distinct processes for the sale of its two wingers. Okay, so PSG want two separate sales. They don't want to do a Man City where they're going to give them both to the same club. That's what it sounds like. Mbaye has already informed his management that he wishes to join Liverpool. That's good. Discussions about his personal terms are reportedly very advanced, with an agreement envisaged until 2031. Liverpool has submitted a total offer of €50 million, which includes 40 million guaranteed and 10 million euros in bonuses. Okay, so this is also a financial thing because PSG wants 60. Okay, fine. So there's negotiations happen for both of these players. It sounds like they're coming close. Hopefully they can come to an agreement, which would put us as in a position where we're first in line. Worst case, you get hijacked by Man City, and then we start again, and then we have to get someone else. But it sounds like I think Liverpool get at least one, if not both. So this could be a deadline day signing with Gakpo. Some of you are saying Gakpo, you've got no faith he's coming to Spurs and he's going to City. That could happen. I know, 145 million. That's got to be a world record, surely, no? 145? It's like 175 million euros. That's almost, I mean, how much money? Like, it's just crazy money. People don't earn a million in their lifetimes, let alone 175 in a year. Or like not a year, let's say 5 years. That is just insane. We can't compute. Just so much money. Big up. Thank you very much for the jewels. Thank you very much, Adam. Big up to you. I feel like someone else sent some jewels, but I might have missed it. There was a point where the stream, I don't know if I'm seeing the top chats or all of the chats, but someone sent another hiding. Who sent the hiding? The hiding one. I saw some jewels come up before, but it's vanished. It's vanished. Thank you very much to whoever it was. Hold on. Can I see? Liam. Big up to you, Liam. Liam Hennessy, big up to you for sending us also hiding jewels as well. Big up to you. I don't know what the jewels do, but they look pretty. Can it buy us a player though? Probably not. Insane, guys. Insane amounts of money. Right. So that is the preview for today. Of course, hopefully we will get the Marmoush news tomorrow. If not, because I will be at the game, and you will get a match day vlog, good or bad. Good, bad, and the ugly. I'll be reporting that to you hopefully on Wednesday at some point. How come Sarah has no mods in the chat? Because I don't know. Wait, how do I get mods? Is that something that YouTube gives me, or I need to like hire mods? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that situation is. So Sarah, you must have not so much. So that's why I never talk about football in front of camera. The itch isn't there. If we can sign 10 from market, who would you choose? I don't know who's for sale right now. I actually don't know who's for sale. That's the truth. I really don't know. Seriously, why are we lacking strikers? If Charlton leaves and Solanke is injured, you are asking who would play up front. The setup is ridiculous if we cannot cover all positions. You can't win. You can't win serving my Jesus. You can't win. You sell Richie, you're leaving yourself short. You keep Richie, he's not good enough. It's a lose-lose. It really is a lose-lose situation that we're in right now. And this is phase one. This is phase one of a rebuild. 9 players would be amazing in the first transfer window. But you're still going to have a lot of dead wood. You're still going to have a lot of 17th mentality within the squad, unfortunately. He hasn't knocked it out their systems yet. So, yeah, it swings and roundabouts. It's just going to be one of them ones. Yeah, I agree about Kulusevski as well. I don't know about Kulusevski if he is going to recover or not. You can make a viewer a mod to help you out, but should trust them beforehand. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. Thank you. Right, guys. Oh, okay. Pick one, but pick carefully. A bit like Roberto De Zerbi picking the squad. Give someone power and they overtake the chat. Right, guys. Okay, maybe I can give it to my dad. He'll certainly knock out anyone that wants the OnlyFans. Right, guys. Okay. Oh God, Ivan Tony. Okay, we're not getting him. Right. Okay, guys. So tomorrow. Okay, well, hold on. Let me just check the poll. Yeah, we're still on 70-30 to keep Solanke. I think that's going to be the case. Right. So this would be our ideal starting lineup. The starting lineup that we went for tomorrow would be the same as Saturday, except for Solanke in replacement of Richarlison. Fingers crossed that this is a better performance than we saw on Saturday. And yeah, fingers crossed that Maddison's injury isn't as long term as everyone's making out online. So guys, I'll see you all very soon in the next video, probably the match day live. I probably won't post tomorrow. It depends. If we get Marmoush, then we'll do a post. Let's see how we go. Fingers crossed, guys. All pray for Gakpo. All pray for Gakpo. All pray for Marmoush. And he's not in Manchester. Pray for Maddison. And I'll see you all in the next video.